Jim and James! Back again, the Disc Golf Collective, episode number 24, Mutates. James, what's happening?
Not much, Jim. How's it going?
Pretty good, man.
It has been a long time, way too long.
Been a long time.
Yep. Well, we have a big show today. We have a lot of news to pass on to you guys. Sorry it's been so long since we've been on here. But we're back, and we promise to have more content, hopefully way more than before. We have a lot more heads involved in this podcast now, which is, I think, going to be a really, really good thing. Well,
got a new guest today.
We do have a new guest, and I will introduce him. Phil Kunix.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in.
And no problem at all.
Yeah. Well, I have a number of questions for you.
Yeah.
First, before we get to the big news.
All right.
I wanted to ask you some questions, and I guess just kind of establish yourself in the disc golf world.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, the first question I have is, how long you've been playing?
Oh, seriously, 5 years or so, but picked up a disc 15-ish years ago for the first time. I mean, for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
I've thrown a couple pieces of plastic.
Yeah. Awesome. That's a long time. That's
a while.
Definitely longer than me. All right. Yeah. I would add a question that I didn't have on my list, but who introduced you?
A couple of guys I used to work with. For details on that story, right?
Yeah.
And it is there available.
Okay.
I would talk to Dr. Disc Golf,
Okay.
the Philosophy of Flight.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good podcast. You might want to check it out.
It is a good one.
That
Absolutely.
very topic was covered there.
Okay.
With my man Jim Morgan.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, let's move on to the next question, which is, how often do you play?
Warmer part of the year, 3 to 5 times a week. Colder part of the year, winter time, probably still 2 to 3 times a week.
Nice.
I
Awesome.
play a lot of disc golf.
Yeah.
A lot of disc golf.
Mostly local?
Mostly, but we'll travel. A few of my buddies and I will travel as much as 2 hours. We just played a tournament in Chillicothe. Check it out right here, guys. Fundraiser tournament. Love the fundraiser tournaments.
Yeah.
Helping to set up a new course out there in Chillicothe at Tar Hollow.
Sweet.
Good time out there.
Yeah. I love to hear that. Always like hearing new courses going up, so that's when they're close enough to play. Yeah. All right. Well, I would also agree. I noticed that you like to do a lot of fundraiser stuff, and
Yeah.
and, I'm the same way. I know Jim over there is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I try to sign up for as many of those as I can, and if I can't sign up for it, I'll try to be there as a caddy and support it in some way.
Charity events, absolutely. Fundraisers, anything that's either doing good or building the community, all about it.
I agree. I like to take the D out of fundraiser, because I swear every time I've ever been at a fundraiser, I have fun. So
Yeah.
it's a fundraiser too.
Yeah.
You know, for
Fun
sure.
with dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's move into a little more detail about your play. You play any leagues?
I've played a few leagues off and on. First time I played a league was last year. I jump into a Tuesday Sasquatch League when I can. I've played this random doubles league this year. Last year I played a Flex Start League at another course. Just really, it's a matter of finding leagues that aren't really serious week to week. More of like the week by week leagues, right?
Yeah.
So where you're not counting up points and averages everything for a whole season,
Right.
but you could jump in, play a couple of weeks, and not have to worry about jumping out. That's those kind of leagues. Those are up my speed.
I like those leagues better as well. Yeah, I think it. I don't feel like I missed out on a bunch of stuff, or like I have no chance of doing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, the Sasquatch League that's been going on for a while now. How long have you been running that, Jim?
Almost 2 years straight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been out there. I mean, rain or
There were
shine, snow or
the
sleet.
least amount of people that ever showed up was 2 people.
Awesome.
Yeah, 6 inches of snow.
Wow.
Hey, look, Sasquatch ain't no joke.
No.
When it's snowy and slippery out there,
Yeah.
I mean, hiking poles,
Yeah.
good
Yep.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're wanting to play a tough course
Climb
with the
the
league and some help finding your disc, which is a good idea.
Yeah,
Tuesdays,
really.
5:30.
The more eyes, the better, for sure.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the league is a good way to play Sasquatch if you're not comfortable playing Sasquatch because
Absolutely.
of how many extra eyes and things you have
Yeah.
out there.
I agree.
There's a lot of folks that are like, "Oh man, I'm just going to lose my whole bag out there." But on those league days, there's enough folks out there that you're.
We find almost everything. Yeah.
I mean, unless you throw like a shark clear over
Yeah.
past an
Oh.
island and you know,
Past the
Yeah.
creek into Briar Village.
yeah, then
Yeah.
you're probably not going to find that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Aside from that,
Yeah.
probably going to get it back.
Right. I agree.
I'll get the weed eater back there eventually.
Yep. Someone will find it. Well, moving on to the next question, or part of the question. Any tournaments do you play?
Yeah, I've played at probably 5-6 tournaments so far this year. Played out Mellow Day in May. That was Seth Burton and Orange Crush. That was a pretty good time.
Yep.
Just played this one in Chillicothe. Played this weekend. Yesterday, I played Appalachian Open over at Vets.
Yeah.
So yeah, playing.
Yeah, I went to that one in Caddy. That was fun to watch.
It was a pretty good time.
Yeah, the course looked amazing.
For what was a week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
after a giant storm went through and knocked down a bunch of trees, and it looked absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, those guys with the tree service did a really good job.
Yeah, they did. Yep. What is your rating?
Oh, I'm sub 800, probably 790s,
Okay.
maybe. I mean, well, after yesterday's tournament, I might be 780s.
Okay. Rough one, huh?
Yeah, well, it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. It was. Yeah. I watched. I caddied for an open player and got to watch the lead card in both rounds. Technically, I guess. It was fun to watch, and they were crushing. Like they played blues second round. I usually think of those as a par.
Those are big teams.
They were
some of those.
parking them almost every hole. I couldn't believe the guy that won by a number of strokes, and he was parking a lot of stuff. I mean, he was throwing some of the most beautiful lines I've seen on that course.
And there's a lot of 400-500 foot.
Oh
plus
yeah,
holes
he
on
was
there.
parking the 450s all day,
Yeah,
all day,
bananas.
like it was nothing. Yeah,
And it's thrown.
and smooth. Like he's a ultimate player, but just smooth as butter.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun to watch.
Those
Yeah.
are good times.
It was. Yeah. By the way, if anyone, if you're ever trying to spectate, always go caddy. Like you get like the closest view you can of some of the best shots ever. So
And if you can't caddy, just go spectate.
just go spectate.
Just go watch.
No
Just
one everybody likes to be watched play.
Second caddy
Most
and
people
third
anyway.
caddy both had quite a bit of work yesterday.
Yes.
We were picking up stuff everywhere. One
Yes,
caddy.
I agree. All right, moving on. Serious or social? Do you play seriously or socially?
I am seriously social about playing.
Yeah, me too.
That's one of the hardest. That's one of the reasons I've been playing 5-6 tournaments this year. Is I want to be able to turn into that serious mindset while I'm playing.
Yeah,
Because while I do play a lot of social rounds, right? Having a good time and everything, but you can't really better your game of any real significance unless you can find that spot where you can really get serious about it and focus on what's going on. Because if you can't focus on what's happening, there's no way you can figure out what you need to do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I like going into some of those tournaments, is because that's what I'm using to teach myself that mentality of really focusing on my shot, my mechanics, what it is I got to do, this shot shape, that shot shape, what's happening with the wind. I'm out having a good time. I don't care. I'm going to throw. Hey, I know I shouldn't throw this shot right now. This is what I'm going to throw.
yeah,
The wrong shot. Watch this.
yeah.
Oh, look at that. It went out of bounds.
Well, no, next time.
Right? But,
Yeah,
you can't do better if you don't learn how to do better,
yeah, I agree. I think these days. I've been competitive in the past.
Mhm.
I don't know that I was ever all that great. I think my
Sure.
best rating was a 913 or somewhere in there.
That's
Um,
pretty good.
I felt it was good enough for me. It quickly started going down because I stopped practicing because I ran out of time to practice, and
Mhm.
a lot of that because I wanted to put more time into running tournaments and doing other stuff for disc golf besides playing. But age is a factor, a lot of stuff. But I think like for me now, I do want to be good enough to compete at the level I think I should be competing at. When I started out, like I thought I should be at the open, level, and
Sure, at some
that
point,
was
yeah.
dumb for me. I started way too late in life, probably. But at this point, I do want to play at like a you know uh, advanced masters level. You
Sure.
know what I mean?
Sure.
Which isn't all that high. So but if I can compete with those guys and every once in a while win something,
What?
then that would be great. And I think that's about where I play, and so I'm happy with where I'm at, and I don't really care what the score is. I think for me it's always been like when I went and caddied yesterday, it was so that I could hang out with all my disc golf friends.
Right.
And that's it. You know what I mean? Because the social part of it for me at this point is everything about it.
Mhm.
And so
That
Yeah.
whole community, as it were.
yeah, I mean I love these guys, and gals, whoever it is that keeps coming back and playing disc golf, and they just all bring something else, a conversation or a different shot, in a a tricky situation or whatever it is. And that's always been. I don't have a ton of family. Well, I'm actually meeting a lot of my family now,
Sure.
but in my past, I didn't feel like I had a whole lot of family that was supportive anyway. But the disc golf family has always been there,
Mhm.
and I love to watch the new people come in and find their way in the group, and the group around here has grown. I mean, exponentially since I moved here
Last
7 years
last
ago.
couple years, yeah.
Oh man, it has been amazing to
mutating.
watch. It is.
It is.
It's mutating for sure.
Well, that's one of the things I like you were saying, with a lot of the new folks coming in, right? So that's one of the cool things yesterday at that tournament was you get to see that a lot of these open players just throwing these unreal shots, right?
Yeah.
And yesterday, a novice guy was on my card, right? And he's throwing thumbers.
Oh wow.
Like 60-70% of his tee shots, thumbers.
Wow.
Maybe a third of his like up shots and second shots are
Oh
thumbers.
wow. That's
And I
crazy.
watched this dude take a F2, throw a thumber from about 70, 80 foot out, and just dropped right in the bucket, crashing the chains. I'm like, get out of town.
Wow.
And I never even thought that the thumber was anything more that I should really look into
Yeah.
until this guy who hasn't been playing for very long comes in yesterday.
Yeah, Jared Black does that to me every time I play with him.
It's great
I
for
watch him. Yeah.
Scramble woods golf. You gotta have that
Oh man.
tomahawk or a thumber.
He's got this one like corkscrew that he
Yeah.
throws, thumber. It's
Yeah.
You're like, what
throws it
in the
like
world? It looks like a
350
drill or
feet.
something.
Yeah.
And just down the tightest, like tightest fairways, you're like, and I'm gonna try to backhand this. That seems silly. Yeah, it's yeah, and then like for the next 10 rounds, I'm trying thumbers. You know what I mean? I'm like, yep, still doesn't work for me. Yeah. But I don't know. I wish I could learn. I can definitely throw a tomahawk, but I cannot throw a thumber for any reason. I don't know if I can't grip it tight enough or what. But it's amazing to watch him throw them for sure. Yeah, it entices you to do the same. Absolutely. Well, I think we're gonna move on to our big announcement.
Sure.
A huge part of why we had you here today, Phil, is that I want to hand over this podcast to you.
Yeah.
I think I don't think that I've done a bad job. I think that things can always be done better,
Sure.
or the same. But I think in our case, we have we've gained some members of the podcast. I think we can do things better. I personally think that your voice and image are a little better for this podcast than me. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but
That's kind of fun.
I hope that they agree with me, and I think they will. because I think all of us are going to be in a better role suited for what we're trying to do. And I know for me, I think the producer role is, a way better role. I think I've built the studio, and I think sitting behind that role is where I've learned the most. And
You like it?
I like it. I've put the most effort into it.
I don't
I
pretend
think,
to know.
yeah,
None. Hey, guys, there's a bunch of stuff happening over here. I don't pretend to know any of it. None
yeah.
of it.
It's fun stuff. It's been a huge education, and it's been my favorite part of that education, and I want to continue that education. I think the host seat for me has been fun, and it's been educational beyond what I ever thought it would be.
You guys had some good times on here too. Now
We did have some great times. Yeah, we had we named the studio the Bat Layer Studio after a bad incident that you guys can go back and watch.
That was not
good
my fault.
episode.
I know.
It was my fault.
It was fun though, and we learn from every tiny little thing. We've had a bunch of podcasts that didn't work at all, didn't record, or the sound didn't record, or it was vibrating for whatever reason, or just doing whatever its own thing. And we continually try to work out all the little kinks. We're still working on a few little kinks. Yeah. And but I think that at this point it just makes the most sense for me to hand over the podcast, and at this point the rest of it's yours, Phil.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
James. Pleasure. Jim. It's going to be exciting.
That's right. I get to be your sidekick. I'm excited.
We're gonna have some fun. So as far as like the podcast, it's still going to be the Disc Golf Collective podcast, but I think we're going to talk a lot more about the community, right?
Yeah.
Not so much disc reviews or latest plastics, things like that, but focus really on the folks that help make the community bigger, stronger, that make it more open and accessible to folks through really just playing and taking part. I think we're going to have a bunch of great folks on here as far as guests.
Awesome.
I'm going to have a segment called Course Designers, where we get to talk with course designers, review and talk about their courses, their inspirations for disc golf, what they're going to be doing, if they have any courses planned in the future, and what they were thinking about different holes, and get their viewpoint, things like that. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have segments about folks that just help out, maintainers, folks that go out of their way just to help make sure their local course looks great, plays great, is nice.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that they get a little recognition. Like,
I love to hear that.
Yeah,
they need that recognition.
And the folks that just grab a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Go out about, Well, I'm not, real quick, I'm not recommending that every single person goes out and grabs a chainsaw. It ain't right for everyone. We don't need anybody getting hurt, right?
Absolutely.
But at the same time, sometimes chainsaw just needs to be grabbed, and, stuff needs to be moved, right? There's going to be all kind of different things. Talk to local clubs,
Nice.
get them to be able to come out, promote themselves, promote their upcoming events. Really going to focus on making sure folks are aware of those charity events, those fundraiser events.
Yeah.
And part of what makes those events work is not just the people going out, but the sponsors that help those events, right? And I think by helping promote those events and getting those sponsors recognition, those events in the area will get more and better sponsors to be able to help them with that. I think it's going to be an excellent opportunity for the disc golf community, or the collective, as you would, to be able to become stronger and really grow the sport.
Yeah.
And I think this will be a great tool to make that happen.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Anything that grows disc golf and grows the collective is, always going to touch my heart for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I would say, I think after I created it, and I created the Disc Golf Collective pretty much with Jim in mind, because when he started building the Sasquatch, or even just talking about it, like, I saw that passion, and then when he put it to work, I was just like, whoa, I had no idea one man could like accomplish
Move a
all
mountain.
this. Yeah,
or at least
literally
all the garbage on the side of it anyways.
Yeah, literally cut out all the garbage and bam, disc golf course,
I don't know.
And then, like, really,
it's amazing.
he really recruited the whole disc golf, community around here to, jump in with him and get some help, which was amazing, which I was never good at. Jim has way more honey and I have more vinegar. This is what I've learned. And but I've definitely tried to learn a little bit of that from Jim, and it rubs off for sure.
Yeah, there are definitely people in the community that collect the other community around them.
Yeah,
and those individuals at the center are really the heart of the collective.
Yeah,
they need to be celebrated as well.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a number of centers in, the collective is everybody, in my opinion. They just haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
They just haven't figured it out.
I
They
swear,
will someday.
I show up, everybody else does the work.
Yeah.
I just put an idea out, and I'm like, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. And there's always two other people show up. It's always different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But over time, you just wear away that mountain.
Yeah.
The collective.
Right.
It mutated. It got bigger.
It did.
Mitosis.
Continues
We split
to grow
and divide.
Yeah.
So the Disc Golf Collective is going to live on.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to still be here, just playing different roles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess, Phil, officially I should give you a gift that it makes it official.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I'm giving you a hat today
Dig it.
with the Disc Golf Collective podcast logo on it.
Get some of that.
Really nice.
Check this out.
Does it fit? Not with
Not
your
with
headphones
not
on.
with the headphones. There we go.
Awesome.
It's official.
Looks good.
Yeah, it works out real well.
Nice. Really nice.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, so moving on, since you're taking over, do you have anything planned for the next drop yet?
So for the first episode, I'd like to have that out maybe the 7th, maybe the 14th, depends on a couple of things, but real basic stuff. First segment is going to be really just how can folks participate, It's going to be real familiar for a lot of folks. It's going to be real common sense, but you know what? I think if you're going to build something, you got to start from the basics, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to build something great, the foundation has to be solid. And for folks to know how we're going, where we're going, we got to know how to get there and how that community builds. And so we're just going to have a real basic how to participate. And then we're going to talk about some of the segments we got coming up, what the show is going to look like for folks. Next time will be a little bit shorter, maybe 30, 40-minute show. Looking to do about hour-long shows afterwards. Then we'll talk about maybe a course that needs a little help. One of the segments we'll have is going to be a recurring segment called Course 911. We're going to call attention to work days,
I like it.
So courses that need a little help. We might only need a couple of people to put in a couple hours for this course, but we might have a course that's really needs a little bit of help. We might need 20, 30 people to put in a half a day, right?
Yeah.
But a handful of people for a good bit of the day is going to put out amazing changes to a course, and it's going to help. And small things like that, one day out of the week, will make all the difference for a bunch of people.
I agree.
And talk about small things like that is going to be how we really are going to go forward. We're going to talk about things like what the pros say, and not about what course they like playing because they shoot really well or they have a hard time at this course, but what their community is like. Because I got to figure the pros are going to have their own community. Our average Joes are going to have our own community.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's going to be so many similarities just that are slightly different, that it's going to really amaze a lot of the average folks that are going to be like, man, we do that same thing, but those are the pros doing it. I think that'll be a really neat thing for a lot of folks to check out.
Yeah, I love that. Any pros in mind?
It'd be pretty sweet to get that our local guy Corey Ellis around
it would
here.
definitely.
That'd be pretty
Corey
sweet.
shot amazing today.
Excellent. Made it to the playoff holes.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was super exciting to see.
But there's a few folks in the area I'd like to get in touch with. Perhaps maybe we'll get some bigger tier pros. You never know.
Yeah.
I think they're all awesome.
Yeah.
They'll do better at disc golf than I do. That's for damn sure.
Johnny Sias on here.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Won another world title. Yeah. That'd be amazing.
I just like talking to folks about disc golf. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, that'll definitely help.
Absolutely.
Definitely help.
Absolutely. Really, I got to tell you, really excited about the course designers talking, because I get jazzed about playing, especially with the guy that made the course.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because then you get to see like little tiny insights. So I'm really excited about that course designers segment. One of the things I want to do with that segment is get flown drone flyovers
of
all the courses.
Yeah.
And then get those uploaded, so that way the community gets to enjoy those as well.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, big stuff. We got lots of stuff. And look, that's not everything, everybody. I don't know, you can't see that. Yeah. It's not it's not everything, but
yeah.
Lots of stuff coming. Lots of content.
Seriously exciting. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. And like I said, with more help and heads involved, I think this there's just, there's nowhere to go but up, for sure. For sure. Well, I appreciate you, Phil.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining, and
thanks for the opportunity.
I'm really looking forward to this.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're at a point where we should sign out, and I hope
Great
you guys
to see
keep
you
watching.
guys.
We got big things coming.
See you next week.
Yeah.